The views and opinions expressed on Lifeguards Off Duty are those of its hosts and guests exclusively. They do not represent any entity, organization, or municipality.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Michael Kachmar.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Sean.
And this is Lifeguards Off Duty with Dr. Michael Kachmar, the Jersey Shore #1 lifeguard-themed video podcast.
Watch us on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook Live. Listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever streaming service you prefer.
If you would like to contact us, send an email to drkachmar@icloud.com. Follow us on Instagram at lg.association.
All right, let's get started.
Let's start the show.
Let's do it.
She said they're gonna lock you up for killing me tonight. And then I bit her lip just a little bit harder. Well, I was so sure it wasn't real. But she's afraid of ghosts. Now I'm sleeping in her room.
I gotta hide that.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Michael Kachmar. This is Lifeguards Off Duty with Dr. Michael Kachmar. Today's date is February 15th, the year of our Lord 2022. I'm really happy and excited and honored, and we have special guests here, musicians who I'm always so jealous of musicians. I wish I could, I do sophisticated surgery and all that, but I can't friggin' hold the note. And when I love music. I watch things on YouTube, how they dissect it and everything. And so I think it's just a God-given talent that's just amazing. It really is. And I'm just so excited. And I think that people are going to love your music. I listened to it before I came here, and I'm very impressed. So I'm going to hand it over to Tyler. Tyler, you're going to take the show over today and introduce our guests. And,
we have this band, Moonwater, in the studio. One of the members, Chris, you're the lead guitarist, technically.
Sure. Who's Chris now? I'm sorry.
That's Mike. You're on mic.
Wait. So who's Chris now? That's Chris. Okay, Chris. Now I got it. So Chris. Okay, now I remember. So Chris is
Chris and I actually grew up together across the street from each other. So,
really?
So that's how I know him. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And when did you guys release the EP?
The EP came out March 2nd of 2020.
Yep.
Okay.
Tough time.
So yeah,
EP out.
Yeah.
Almost 2 whole years ago.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So I always knew Chris was playing guitar. Like, we always talked about it, like playing football in my front yard and shit. And about 2 years ago, he posted on his Instagram this album with this band Moonwater, and I listened to the first song and I was blown away. I was like, because I had heard you like playing on Instagram and stuff like that for years, but I'd never seen you really have like a well produced and like just amazing song. And it blew me away. And ever since, I've had those songs on like repeat on my playlist.
I'm sitting here trying to remember what the first song is. I think it's Mary Jane.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it is. Yeah.
Got to know what the tone is. All right. Yeah.
And yeah, ever since, I've been a huge fan. I saw you guys at the Saint. When was that? October?
September. That was like the Labor Day.
That was September.
It was Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
And was that your first show back?
No, we did one over the summer, like in Brooklyn, but that was like the biggest one we had done post-pandemic.
Because the Saint was the last place you performed at, right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
I tried to make that show, but I forget what happened. I think I was like working that night.
We think about that sometimes, and we sold out that place. We had like 150, 175 people in that room. Like, I don't even think the end of that week was when they started shutting things down because of COVID. So like, we could have had the first super spreader event in Jersey for all we know. Like,
probably the most anti-COVID thing that we possibly could have done was hold that show. But man,
we had
what a
no
blast.
idea.
And
we had no idea, but
that just kept us motivated, like the whole pandemic. It was
Oh,
like we
yeah,
knew like what was on the other side of the tunnel.
You guys really bring the energy when you perform, man.
That's what we try.
I want to talk more about like being a creative during the pandemic, because I can relate to you guys. Like, we were talking a little bit off air about that stuff too. But I think we should just start with you guys introducing yourselves. So you want to start, Mike?
Yeah, for sure. introduce myself musically.
However you want. You know?
All right, I'll
Free
go
form.
musically. I'm Mike Cappelluti. Started playing piano when I was 5 years old. And then by the time I was 12, I was like, do I want to master piano? Do I want to get into songwriting, learn some other instruments? So chose the latter, started songwriting when I was 12, joined an awful accidental Green Day cover band. We tried to turn it into something original, but our love for Green Day was just so undying that we eventually, like, I was in and out of a couple of different pop rock bands in high school, was taking on like the role of like a lead songwriter, I guess you could say, for that. And then when I went to college, was really focused on my studies, went to school for marketing at Seton Hall. And there wasn't a huge music presence on campus. So was fortunate enough to get involved in like some of the first of its kind. Like I did like a music club there, was meeting weekly with songwriters, was doing a folk music singer-songwriter kind of thing there. And then when I graduated and started working, I was like, you know what? Like, I've never done like the lead singer of a band thing. You know, I love songwriting. It's like one of my passions. Like, why not? Like, let's just see like what we can translate that into musically as a band. And then Moonwater happened, and it's just been a ton of fun since. And you know, Chris and I living together now in Jersey City. Like, it's a, you know, we're working on our craft every day, and it's something I'm extremely thankful for.
Let me ask you, Mike, because you know, our granddaughter, you know, we get her playing piano now, and so how far did you go? Just because I think it's great. I think that's why parents, we all like to try. You know, I think it's a great idea to push our kids into music. So how did you continue on playing the piano? Like I know you got into a band, but what did you? I know you talk about writing and singing, but what instruments did you continue to play? Did you perfect that, or went to something different, or?
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny because like not to go off on a tangent or like the whole life story or anything, but I started playing piano because I was banging my fists on a keyboard in a family friend's basement, and someone said, you know, you can't touch it unless you know how to play it. And you know, I was kind of like, well, like screw that. Like, I want to learn how to play it then. This thing was accumulating dust in their basement. They shipped it over to us, and you know, within the month, I was taking lessons. So like I think that's something that went a long way for me, is that like it was ultimately my decision to get involved in it, and it was something that I was really motivated to do.
Right.
But yeah, like, you know, I'll say about piano, it's pretty hard for it to get gratifying. Like, you got to spend some years like really learning theory, and
It's so complex, right?
yeah, I mean, like learning how to use both hands independently, like things like that. Like, takes a lot of focus, like especially for a young kid. And I'd say about the time when I started, when I was 12 and got interested in songwriting, it was because my studies had shifted more towards jazz music. So I was kind of like learning chord progressions and, you know, finding all these themes in popular songs for like what a, you know, successful chord progression looks like. So I was super interested in that, but had a teacher also that was really pushing me to like develop some classical technical chops as well. So like to date, like I still study piano. You know, I'll still play like some classical music around the house, like just to try to keep my chops up.
Yeah.
But I would say like my interest focused from like, rather than being a, you know, a virtuoso like piano player, more so decided to really get involved in keyboarding, like, you know, sound synthesis and
Okay.
And that kind of thing. So like that's where I'm most comfortable now. But you know, as a piano player, like still have like a, you know, a good grasp of theory and you know, try to stay on top of my chops as much as I can.
That started you though. That started you. That was the whole thing that started you. That's
Yeah,
great.
sure.
That's great. That's great. That's good.
Chris, how did you start playing?
You know, I get these questions all the time, and I don't even remember when I got my guitar anymore. I think it was my 12th birthday. That's what I keep telling myself, at least 12th or 13th
That's a
birthday.
good story.
So like, yeah, it's like, it's so like second nature for me now, but I don't remember when I got it. I think it was a birthday. I know that much at least. It was either 12 or 13. So like I got a late break. Like Mike said, like he started when he was 5. A lot of people start a lot earlier. I always had like an obsession with music growing up. Like listening to music and even like watching musicians. Like my family had all these like DVDs of people performing, and would just like throw it on while they're cleaning the house, and I would just like sit there and watch them. And I think I just had this obsession for the performing and the music. And I told my parents I wanted to start playing guitar, but initially I was like, I don't want to take lessons. I just want to have it and kind of mess around. And my mom was like, no, you're going to take lessons. And took lessons all the way up till college, where I went to school for music. I studied songwriting and studio production and engineering while I was in college at Berklee College of Music. And then, yeah, kind of similarly to Mike, when you first kind of are like learning an instrument, you're like, I want to be considered the best on this instrument ever. And then you get to a point where you're like, I just kind of want to help people like understand that this instrument's cool, and I want to be able to relate to people, but I don't want to like be the greatest guitar player anymore.
Well, it's funny because people ask us about swimming. You know, we're all lifeguards. We're not like Olympic swimmers, but we get the
Right.
job done.
Yeah,
Right.
And so I think that's part of it. But it's interesting. Just want to ask you. So you, in early age, you gravitated towards the guitar. What music will you say? Because I think your age is MTV and radio. So what like for me, Zeppelin,
Sure.
I mean, I like that kind of stuff, and that was it. What did you like when you were that age? Say 14, 15, 16.
Yeah.
What was your
I was definitely being raised on like my parents' music, so like Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah. Oh,
And,
yeah. 4th of July. Yeah.
That definitely still to this day like set the precedent for like what a performer does. Because if you've ever seen Bruce play live, his shows are like literally
insane.
4 hours long, and he's doing everything possibly imaginable up there. And I think the first time I ever went to see one of his shows, I was like 8. And I, just became obsessed with that kind of entertainment, I guess. But yeah, I was definitely big on like the blues, Led Zeppelin, Eric Clapton, Stevie Ray Vaughan. And then definitely got into like John Mayer, who became a massive influence on my guitar playing in like those learning years.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't really leave out any style of music. I don't listen to like a lot of metal per se or like country, but like I listen to a little bit of everything. So
Chris, was your first show a Springsteen show at 8?
yeah.
Damn, I'm so jealous.
What was yours?
I grew up with a bunch of Barry Manilow propaganda.
Don't even say. Let's erase that. Man.
Like,
No, I'm
so,
only kidding.
I'm so sorry if my grandparents are listening to this, but I think my grandma has seen Barry Manilow, no exaggeration, I think 55 times.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. Well, I tell you,
crazy.
real quick. I used to share an office with a bunch of doctors down in Barnegat, and there was this one. She was an ophthalmologist, and she would bring. We had a system, a music system in the office, and she would bring her own music in, and she played Barry Manilow. I said to her, I said, listen, I told her partner, I said, listen, I can't just change it up a little bit.
There's only so much Barry Manilow that
it was
brutal.
brutal.
I can
She
honestly-
loved Barry Manilow. She had the hat on and everything.
I need an example of a Barry Manilow song because I don't even know if I've ever heard one.
What's a
You've
popular
definitely heard one.
Oh, Mandy,
Yeah.
Copacabana.
He's not,
Okay.
Yeah, he's
that
not
guy-
bad.
Yeah, I could only do so much of that.
yeah.
No, he's a good dude. It's just like
No,
everything
no,
in
no,
moderation.
no, no.
you know?
Exactly. Like, how many times can you listen to the Copacabana?
See, but I'm kind of like you. I liked, my first concert I went to, if you call it a concert, was Jackson Brown.
Okay.
Wow.
And we used to sit
Great.
when we went to college. When we had a breakup or whatever, we sit there in our beer and we would listen to Jackson Brown, because all his stuff is melancholy, or Marshall Tucker. And it's like, and then some of it, you like the blues too. I love the blues, like Stones. They especially the early stuff. It's really heavy duty blues. But Barry Manilow. All right, well,
My first concert was Wiz Khalifa and A$AP Rocky
Wow.
at PNC.
Nice.
there you go.
That
A lot,
sounded
of,
like
lot of weed smoke in the air on that one.
Right. Yeah.
that must have been your choice, though. I'm sure your parents weren't like, yeah, go for it.
Actually, what my brother got me the tickets for my 19th birthday, and I could care less about A$AP Rocky. Like, I was excited to see Wiz.
Right.
But
So you say your first concert was at 19?
yeah,
That's like unheard of.
isn't that sad?
Yeah, it's wild.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'd seen a couple live performances a couple times, like, but yeah, never like an actual
Yeah.
concert. And then, but I never even got to see Wiz. My brother was like, "Yeah, we're leaving after A$AP."
What?
I'm like, "Dude, it's my birthday."
Oh my God.
So what I like now is, and so I'm older than you guys. But I go back.
No
and what
way, you're older than
Yeah,
us?
what I love is like I go onto YouTube, right, and I go Like I visit stuff like Sweet. You guys ever hear the Sweet? The Sweet. They were a British band, and see, you guys don't even. You guys should check it out. The Sweet. They were right up there. They were the same time as ABBA and the Beatles and the Beach Boys. So they were the 60s and going to the 70s. Their stuff, they're still on the radio. Bar Room Blitz is the Sweet. There's stuff you don't, and they had so much talent in that band. Every one of them could sing. I mean, they were just ridiculous. And so I hit them. Like I even like ABBA. I mean, I know it sounds like
Oh no, that was awesome.
I mean, I visit that stuff all the time. So I just keep going and going. But you guys, now we have the ability to go back and see all this stuff.
Yeah.
You didn't have that years ago. So, that's what I'm saying. When you guys grew up, you had MTV, and now you could go see everything. You guys got to look at the Sweet though. So you didn't know about that one.
No.
Yeah. So
Sean's a big Led Zeppelin fan.
what's your favorite? What's your favorite Led Zeppelin song? I know it's hard, but what's one of your, like? Give me. And they had, and they do different
is it
versions.
corny to say "Going to California"? Is that like
I love that one.
That's a good one.
See, they change their songs too. If you in live and but again,
well, it's always a loaded question because I like compartmentalize. I'll be like, my favorite like slow song is "Since I've Been Loving You," but if I want to like go crazy,
I'm like that with Kanye's music.
It might be like Lemon Song or something. Like I don't know. Like it changes on what kind of Led Zeppelin I want.
Yeah. They the one that I like is the what is it? Over the Hill, Far Away, Over the Hill.
Yeah, Over the Hills and Far
And what's
Away.
the other one? The one that's mythology.
It's like all of his songs.
No, yeah, but the one where it's not Kashmir. The one it is. He has later on when they do it, they have a woman who sings part of the song. Sorry. I can't remember. Yeah, moving on. I'll think about it. You think about it, and I'll look it up. I'm going to look it up right now. So go ahead, talk.
So I know you guys want to play a couple songs for us, hopefully 2 or 3. We can definitely do that in a couple minutes. But first, how did you guys meet? And I want to know a little bit about like how the band came to form. There's 2 other members?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about that.
You want to take this one?
We met because of the band. Yeah.
Okay.
I met Mike because this band was forming, and the first time we met was in his basement to like co-write together. And
I can elaborate on that too. Like when I say the first time that Chris and I met, like I knew that like this was gonna like it just clicked. I think the very first thing that we were jamming on together is just me playing the keyboards and Chris playing the guitar. I was like, yeah, holy shit, that's good. Like keep doing that, Chris. Like and like all of a sudden, like we had this song that even like to this day, like we're still developing like that idea. It was just like instantly like we were already making stuff that we were proud of.
I think I have that voice note saved. I don't know if it's on this phone or my old phone, but the name of it was literally, excuse my language, was Audible Orgasm. Because when I played the guitar part, you literally just hear Mike in the background go, oh! Because he was just like, I don't know, man. Sometimes you just kind of meet like a writing partner, and it just it's literally like being in a relationship. It's the weirdest thing. There's just like this.
It is totally.
I've had like people that I've had creative partnerships like that, and it's the same thing. Like you just from the first second like bouncing ideas off each other, and it just flows so well. So I know that feeling completely, man.
So
so why Moonwater?
Like why the name?
Yeah, why the name? Can you pull the mic just a little bit closer?
Yeah. Of course. How am I doing?
That's perfect.
What's up? Yeah, we landed on Moonwater as a name. I was watching Almost Famous movie.
Okay.
And the name of the band in the movie was Stillwater, and I was like, "That's a really sick name, but I can't steal it because it's in, it's in the movie." So we just basically started attaching some different words to water, and then like one of our favorite artists actually has a song called Moonwater also. And I initially thought that was like kind of tacky to like steal somebody's song name, and then I was actually talking to a friend of mine, and this same artist, his name's Bon Iver. The first song on one of his albums is called Flume, who, the super popular DJ Flume had stolen that name from. And I was like, well, if this guy's doing it, like, I guess it's fair game. Landed on Moonwater, and
I like it. I
Yeah,
think it's.
we,
I think
we
it's
like
pretty neat.
argued over a band name for like probably 1 to 2 months. Like no joke.
It
Like,
might have
We
been
did the
long.
same thing with the name
we
for this
couldn't land
podcast.
on anything, so we finally just heard something. And I remember I was at work. I was like working a wedding. Mike was like, "What do you guys think about Moonwater?" And I was like, "There it is. Like that's finally it. Like I'm not pissed off about that. I don't think it's pretentious. Totally." And yeah,
And I'll tell you what, like with naming a band, naming anything, like all of the objectively cool names at this point are taken. But I firmly think that it really comes down to like, can you make the name cool? Like, can you make art that's interesting and draws people to the art? Like,
Yeah, make it so it's not even about the name.
yeah,
Be so good that the name doesn't matter.
right.
Essentially.
Like I always think that one band, Imagine Dragons. I don't know, for some reason it just doesn't fit there. It's like when you meet like a Joe or a Mike or a Larry
Right.
or
Yeah.
Susan. It's like kind of like, but then I don't know. I just didn't think, but yeah, I like Moonwater. To me, when I hear that, I thought when the moon is on the water, and that's beautiful. I mean, I've been in places where in the islands where there's, and I could think right now where the moon's coming down, hitting the water, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. So it gives me that thought. So,
That's
oh,
really
by the
cool.
way, the song for Led Zeppelin is Evermore.
Evermore.
Ah.
I think that's one of the most. I mean, the words are unbelievable. I
It
mean,
is
the
a great
lyrics,
song.
but this, it's so. Yeah. Anyway, that's
You
just-
guys want to play a song?
Sure.
yeah, let's do it. Let's play
That'd be-
Ghosts.
that'd be
Ghosts?
great.
Oh
That'd
yeah,
be
my
great.
my girlfriend loves that song.
Oh,
She's
right on.
obsessed with you guys. I think she's watching right now. She's our only live listener.
Oh, right on. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, we haven't gotten down with the posting scheduling stuff. Like I said, this is
Right.
what's this? How many?
Episode 25, quarter of a
So-
century.
So we're
25. That's a milestone.
25.
Yeah.
I used to consider 25 my lucky number.
Well, there.
It would
Wow,
change. You said you used to.
I-
What changed?
I have no reason to justify 25 as my lucky number, but like, what does a lucky number really mean? I consider 25.
it means the number of episode of Lifeguards
Listen,
Off Duty that you
if
land
you
on.
want, I could give you another mic there. You want to use it? I could have you set.
No, I think I think
okay.
he's gonna sing. He's gonna play. So
Okay,
we're good.
fine. Okay.
All right, let's do
a
it.
long intro. You want me just
Yeah, we can do that. Give me a little intro, Chris. Nice.
I'm gonna try to go back and forth the best I can here. We should have had another camera like along with it.
She said they're gonna lock you up for killing me tonight. And then I bit her lip just a little bit harder. Well, I was so sure it wasn't real. And she's afraid of ghosts, now I'm sleeping in her room. So if you're spending the time, can you spend it here for a while? And if you're short on time, can you handle some of mine? And she is scared of ghosts, but loves the darkness. She's got a white sheet draping around over her head. She's scared of ghosts, and I scare her most. Well, I'm watching the exits pass and the time fly by. I never really thought that I'd grow much older. Yeah, I was so sure that I'd stay young. And now I'm laying with strangers that I won't ever love. So if you're spending time, can you spend it here for a while? And if you're short on time, can you handle some of mine? She is scared of ghosts, but loves the darkness. She's got a white sheet draping around over her head. And she's scared of ghosts, but I scare her more. She'll never know. She says, I know you think I'm crazy, girl, I know you're crazy. I could see you when you walked in the room. But there's something about your touch and the way that you dance, and it drew me a little closer to you. You know you're tired of feeling nervous, but you look so good. You're a beginning at a party event. And if you wanna get right, take me home tonight. I think that maybe we could be friends. And she's scared of ghosts, but loves the darkness. She's got a white sheet draping around over her head. And she is scared of ghosts, but I scare her most. She is scared of ghosts, but she'll never know. Oh, she'll never know. She'll never know. Never know.
Great job.
Yes.
Nice, great,
Yeah,
really
you.
good. That was
Thank you.
good.
Oh, what a first live musical
Yeah,
performance on the show.
yeah. I was trying to get my granddaughter. She likes to sing, and I can't wait for her to. We should have had her on live. She'd go crazy. That was really good. Yeah, it was really
Thank
good.
you so much.
So
Yeah,
we were talking before the show that, so is that now the first officially archived acoustic version of one of your songs?
No, they're on YouTube. No, you're
Acoustic.
I don't think-
Acoustic.
Oh,
though.
acoustic. Oh, okay,
Acoustic,
that's right.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
That
Wow.
was that
For
was
sure,
great.
yeah. First time. Thanks for letting us do that.
That was great. That worked out good with the mics and everything for you guys.
Yeah.
Cool.
A couple of moments of suspense of making sure I know the whole song, but you know, I don't always play all those parts. I play some other things.
It's funny. I told Chris, like, coming into like an acoustic studio setting, I was like, let's like, take the key down a little. This way I'm not like, screaming and like waking up the neighbors and stuff. So thanks, Chris, for playing it that way for the first time.
Yeah.
No,
That
you
was the first
sounded
time
great.
you
I was.
played it that way?
That was.
I mean, we've done a couple of like acoustic performances live, but we always kind of just
It's different every time.
That's the beauty of live.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
Yeah. So, 'cause your new song has a pretty different sound than the EP. Like the new song, dare I say, has Bon Iver. Did I say it right?
Oh, that
Strong
is
Bon Iver
a
vibe.
huge
yeah,
compliment.
settle down.
I mean,
He's gonna.
He's like, oh no, he should have said that to Mike.
Am I going out on a limb by assuming that he was an inspiration for that track? Is it a he? Is Bon Iver a he?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a collective.
Oh, is it a collective?
I think that's what the guy who is the front man would say. Yeah,
Okay.
it's a band.
Okay. So that was a big like draw for that.
I like one thing that I would just love to show people is like what the first voice memo of that song sounded like. Because like I remember recording that like at the the grand piano in the living room of my parents' house. Like my dog is like walking around and like scratching himself and like there's all like sorts of like noise going on. And I sent it to Chris and I was like, hey, like I wrote this like really pretty like sounding piano idea. Like, do you think it's like too slow? Is it too soft? Is it too pretty? Like, can we do something with this as a band? And I don't know. I always get excited when Chris gets excited about something because I know that like when Chris like gets home and in front of his computer, I think you were working like a wedding that night or something.
So talking about knowing like your writer, like if you're in a relationship, everything that Mike
Right.
sends me is always going to be on a piano, a ballad, and like way too slow.
Yeah.
So like I heard it at first, I was like, this needs to be like a driving like up tempo song. But yeah, like the melodies immediately stuck with me. But terms of doing like the more electronic thing in the beginning, that kind of was more of like a later idea, but we just felt like it fit with the idea of like a song being called Alien Talk and this kind of like really reflective lyric, it'd be cool to make it sound all almost artificial sounding. So,
Okay. Yeah.
but then the rest of the song is kind of more rock and upbeat.
So just to be clear for our listeners, the song we're talking about right now, Alien Talk, is not the one we just heard, Ghosts.
That is true.
What's the meaning behind Ghosts?
I think, oh man, I got to think about this one. I think there's definitely a youthful aspect to the song of kind of like not really knowing what's next, like whether it be like personally or in a relationship. Like there's that lyric, watching the exits pass and the time fly by. I'm never really sure I'd grow much older. Like, I grew up, going back and forth from school, my parents' house in Central Jersey, up and down the Parkway, like late nights, like being at different points in my life, and I think it was just kind of like reflecting on that there. But I think that there is like a youthful part of like being afraid, which is like what we're talking about in the chorus, and learning from it and growing from it, and I think that's like a little bit of what I wanted to encapsulate in there. Chris, I don't know if I hit any of those points.
I mean, I believe all those lyrics are yours, but yeah, I mean, the beauty in it is that you capture one centralized idea. The whole being scared of ghosts, but I scare of most thing. I've heard a lot of people just say I love that line, like that makes me think of this and so and so. And the coolest part about all of this is like hearing someone else's interpretation of it, because it means something totally different than what you had in mind.
Yeah,
that's one of the great things about, like, as a writer, once you release something, it almost doesn't matter what you meant by it.
Yeah,
because everyone that listens to it's going to have their own interpretation of it, and that in a sense becomes the meaning, right? Because if I write something, and if it means something to me, like I'm the only person that means that to. You know what I'm saying? And then everybody else takes this song and puts their own experiences and takes them and layers them. And I think that is a really beautiful thing about music.
Yeah, I think that there's a vagueness that goes into writing lyrics too. Like you want to be specific enough where it's interesting, but vague enough where people can like tie their own stories to whatever plot you're creating. And it's something that we talk about a lot, like, when we're sitting and writing, is like we want to keep that in mind. Like it can't be too specific for the listener. And like Chris said, I mean, hearing the way that different folks resonate with it and, what stories they're tying to it, like that to me is a lot more interesting than like pouring every single detail of maybe a situation that I'm dealing with or a friend's dealing with or Chris is dealing with. And, just black and white, like that's what the song is.
Yeah.
And I think like, alluding to Alien Talk too, like there's definitely a vagueness that goes around that song as well. And, more recently, like having the song out now for, what is it, almost 2 months. It's been cool to hear how different people are relating to that as well.
Well, one of the things I love so much about your music is the lyrics, like the lyricism, because I find myself listening to it so many times thinking like what the hell are these guys talking about? Like not in a
Thank you.
bad way.
Thank you.
It's a huge compliment.
Not
Really.
like
Stroking our ego today.
For
but not in a bad way, in a sense like this shit is making me think, it's like putting me somewhere and really making me like be present for this song. So
that's awesome.
But Chris, you make a good point about how you listen to a song and there's a couple lines that really stick in your head and make it different. Like there's I don't know if I listen to one of the bands I like is Black Angels, and they have one song that's called "Young Man Dead." Young Man Dead. I think, and there's a lyric in it that says, "You can't live if you're afraid to die." And there's other bands, but that sticks out. I mean, I listened to that song probably 1,000 times, and it's actually in a movie. I think Liquid Air or something. It's a snowboarding movie, but that one lyric. So you make a good point. It sticks in your head, and it's just like it goes on.
Is it Liquid Air? We spent like.
Well, yeah, we were looking at. We looked this up the other time. Yeah, but
no, it's not Liquid.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But the point is that I think that's really important. I I'm so impressed that you write your own music. You know, I mean, that's something or both. That's something that shows to me that's you're way a step ahead. And
Hey, they ain't no cover band, Catch.
No, and that's important because you could, like you said, you bring out new things that nobody's ever thought about. I always think about how many different songs are there. It's an infinite amount. You could just have more and more songs and more thoughts, and so I'm really impressed on that. So so both of you right? Both of you are
Yeah.
So, and how, like, you guys, like, how long did it take you to write that song that, the one they just sung, that days, like how?
I think you had all the lyrics before I was even in the bands, but then I kind of just totally flipped the presentation of the song, if I remember correctly.
And I remember feeling like, okay, this song is, I like it. There's some interesting melodies, but something's missing. And it's funny because Chris is our guitar player. And I guess you could say like I'm technically the keyboardist in the band. But Chris actually introduced that 80s like synth thing that's going on in Ghost in the intro. And I was like, that's what's missing,
Yeah.
So do you guys do it where like do you, because this might be a naive question, but do you come up with the melody, some riffs, or do you come up with the words first, or like how's it going? Like when you guys sit down, do you guys sit down and say, okay, let me just try a little something on the guitar, and then that sounds good, and then you just try to put some words to it? Like how does that all?
You want to take that one?
I feel like I feel like my answer. My answer is that there's no way. It happens in so many different ways. But well, I mean, especially since Mike and I only started living together this past year, all the songs that have been recorded for us were before we lived together. So they were all like written on our own time. So these were all songs that like Mike had already written and then sent to me, and I was like, okay, I want to do this with this song, or vice versa. And that's the way that like the kind of groundwork of this band was made, with songs that like I wrote on my own time and shared with Mike, or Mike wrote on his own time and shared with me, and we kind of made our collaborative effort, and we'll kind of make the skeleton to a song to the point where we know if it's good enough or not to share with the rest of the band, and we'll kind of make a demo between the two of us, and then share it with our drummer Kay and our bass player Eric, who are both so good at kind of just adapting to what we have in mind. And then once all four of us are in the room together rehearsing, then we'll start being like, here's an idea, but what if we also do this? And that's where the real magic kind of makes the end result.
I think just to echo like what Chris said as well is I think I'm most proud of the writing that Chris and I do because it's so collaborative. And I think that like both Chris and I do a pretty good job of like separating any kind of like ego from the song. Like I think that there are some writers that write something and like this is their baby.
That's the thing.
And it needs to sound like that because like that was the way that I expressed myself in that moment. And there's a degree of truth to that. Like, I understand why maybe some people feel that way. But when I write something and I show it to Chris, like I genuinely cannot wait to see what he's going to do with it, because anything that he's going to do with it is going to be something that I maybe hadn't considered at all. And like, I'm very excited by having like a fresh set of ears, who will tell me like, I like this, I don't like this. We can make this better by doing this. And it's something that like I appreciate a lot about Chris, and like definitely something I don't take for granted in our writing relationship, as we keep referring to, because it's something that's hard to find, without going off on a tangent. Like I've definitely learned a lot from being in the band that like art is really delicate. Like there's so many factors, like what's going on in your life, what's going on in Chris's life, the environment that we're in, who we're surrounded by, like how we're feeling on that day. So like when everything lines up and like, the perfect storm of some kind of final product happens, like it's, I don't know, it's euphoric for us.
It gives you energy, man.
Yeah, totally.
And I've been part of projects like this one where we have a group of people and our visions all kind of line up. And like you said, there is no ego. We're all, the two of us, Catch, we got into like a bit of a heated discussion like a couple weeks ago, but at the end of the day, like our vision for this thing is the same.
Right.
And we're both willing to make, you know, exceptions and compromises to make that happen. But I've also been, you know, part of creative groups where that didn't happen.
Yep.
You know, and people weren't willing to make those compromises. And in the same way that you said, you know, it can be euphoric, it can also be just draining.
100%.
You know,
Totally.
I wanted to ask you, so you guys get your demo together between the two of you and you bring it to the other two band members. Where does it go from there? You start rehearsing it, and then is it like, are you not bringing them something unless you know you want to record it? What kind of part does their input play?
That's a good question. I feel like at least maybe the way I am, I don't know if Mike's the same way, but I tend to not show something unless it's like I'm 100% certain that it's good. And the only way that I'm 100% certain that it's good is if it's like fully finished and I know that it's what I'm expecting.
And like we talked about before, by that time you hate it.
Yeah. And then by that time I'm like,
Right.
I'm so sick of this. No, by that time I've only listened to like 700, 800 times. So it's still fresh. Yeah, I don't know. Sometimes we'll bring kind of incomplete ideas in, but it's just we only have we rehearse like on a good like schedule once a week for maybe like 2 hours max. We don't have like a lot of time with each other. Like we're not doing music full time yet. We all have lives outside of the band. So it's just hard to like sit down with 4 people and constantly have that creative process going where it's not interrupted and it is like an organic and like fruitful process.
When you have the band together, you got to be ready to go.
Yeah,
you got to be ready to record and take advantage of that time.
We definitely, you know, will bring an idea and be like, I mean, our drummer Kay is just so awesome on the drums, and there's no way that I can replicate what he does.
Is he sorry to cut you off there, but are they both writing their own parts, or are you coming to them with their part written?
There are some parts, but we're not like, yo, you weren't playing what I played in the demo. Like, why aren't you, you know, especially on the drums. That's what I'm saying. Like drums, it's more so a form skeleton for them to know what's going to happen in the song. If there is one particular thing on the drums that I want him to catch, or same thing in the bass, we'll mention it, but it's not a dictatorship.
Would you say that drums are like a more intuitive instrument than most others?
Drums can do so many different things. You can so drastically change the feeling of any song on the drums more than any other instrument's impact on the song. The drums have the biggest impact. So I'm not going to sit there and tell the insanely talented guy that we have behind the drums what to do. I'll just be like, okay, you know, like you kind of feel that, and he'll be like, yeah, I got it, let's go.
And I think that like that's another thing that you know we both relate on is like we have the demo, and then we send it to them, and when we're driving a rehearsal, we're like, man, I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with it, you know, because like this was our best effort, but like they're gonna have a fresh set of ears and introduce their parts, and that's exciting to us too. But you know, I'll say I think something that we've been pretty good about, especially over the last couple of months, is I think that sometimes there's a pressure that exists to like finish something in the moment, or you know, just add like that last part that you need to a song, like because it, you know, it needs the last part, and you want to, you know, you're eager to crank out new music. We've done a pretty good job. We've got this whiteboard in the apartment with all of our ideas, you know, where they're at, if they're a part or two short. And we really just kind of like been letting those ideas like marinate. And then, you know, every so often, like we're sitting jamming together and we're like, oh, that would work really well there. And then it's like, all right, like that's another one off the list. And like, I think there's like a certain extent of like maturity there as like a songwriter, in that like you want to finish everything, but like just waiting for the right part, you know, it just pays dividends like for your song. Like, it makes it that much stronger.
I like that you use the word marinate, because you know, I'm thinking about that feeling of like working on a project and just seeing it for hours and hours on end, to the point like where you can't stand to see it or hear it anymore. But then there's also that time where you put it down for like a week, and then you go back to it and you listen to it, or you watch it, or you look at whatever you were working on, read it back, whatever. And you take like this, like, it's almost like this breath of relief. You're like, oh shit, like, okay, that doesn't suck. Like, and you get rejuvenated and you start working on it again.
Totally.
Yeah. There's like a certain, I guess it's a compliment I can give to Mike in that some people, when you write with them, if they don't know what they're doing with the song or the vibe that you got within like the first couple minutes, it's like they totally check out. This isn't it. Switch up. But Mike and I will like sit in our room with like the lights off and like a rock salt lamp on and like Christmas lights on and just like play the same thing for like 45 minutes. And, you know, nothing will happen for like the first 44 minutes, but then on like the 44th minute, like somebody's head kind of like pokes up and they're like, yo, like that's cool. Let's do this. Let's keep going. Yeah.
What was that? More of that.
Yeah. And then like
totally.
next thing you know, it's like your new favorite idea moving forward. So like we're really good at like not giving up on something. Maybe to an extent, sometimes we spend too much time trying to perfect it, but like that's like a really rare thing because some people, like if they don't know where it's going in the first like 3 minutes, they're just like they check out. They don't want to keep going with it.
I think something that people who aren't creative don't understand about art is that it is work. Like
Totally.
I feel like when people think of like an artist, they think of someone who's just so gifted and they sit down and it just comes out of them. But like it's not that, you know, if you're a songwriter, you gotta try to write a song every day, even if you're not feeling it. You know, if you're an author, well, you better be writing 5,000 words a day, or like how do you expect to ever, because it's like part of the work of being an artist is like for that first 40 minutes, you just sit down and you just dump all the bullshit out of your brain that may be stopping you from getting to that one nugget that is what you're looking for.
Yeah,
you know,
it's a lot. I was watching a documentary with the Beach Boys, and they used to Brian Williams. It spent hours and like takes and takes, and then
insane.
And then Steely Dan, same thing. They talked about these. I mean, it takes a long time, and just I don't know if I read it wrongly, but Adele just came out with a new song, and it's been like what 5 years. I mean, it's a long process. So and it doesn't
Adele just drop an album? Like,
yeah. But when's the last time she had? It's been
25 to 30, I think it was, right?
Yeah,
5 years. Yeah,
right. So I mean, you know, and like I remember back in the day, you're always waiting for the new album to come out, and it could take years, you know. So it's a process, but it's you know, so I guess things take it's not that easy. I appreciate that it's not that easy. That's why I'm saying that, you know, the stuff that you put out, you can see it's a lot of work. Just like it's not easy to do.
No.
I mean, it takes a lot of work. So
I used to have this conversation with people all the time in college because, again, I went to school for music. My grading system was totally subjective. Like, how do you tell someone they're failing while writing a song? So, like,
I didn't think about that.
You know, honestly, I like never cared about my grades in college. There were semesters I didn't even check my report card unless my mom asked because it was just it didn't matter.
No.
People would, you know, talk about like having all these projects that they would have to do. You know, if I was like at work and they have like actual educations that they're taking. And they're like, well, your homework's just like writing a song. And I'm like, that is true. But like at the end of the day, there's this internal pride. You don't want to be going out there writing things that you're not proud of. And if you write a song that sucks, you got to go up in front of a room of all your classmates that you're with every single week and go up there and write something that sounds like shit. And they're going to know that it sounds like shit and you didn't work, and you got to be up there and just be like.
And it's also like, you know, if you're if you're not studying, you know, I studied English, so and it's standard English, so I didn't even do that much creative writing, right? So, you know, mine was whatever question I was asked, the answer was there to be found,
right?
But if you're writing music for an assignment, like there's nowhere to look to find the answer other than in your inside yourself, you know.
So Chris, when you were in college, did you guys like dissect songs, like say Coldplay or I don't know, you know, and is that how do they, because that's interesting, how do they teach you in college? Like, I mean, he's saying it's open-ended, but do you take a song and dissect it, and is there a certain anatomy to a song that and then you guys try to follow that now, or you just again just interested about that?
Music is just patterns. That's really all it is. It's just repetition of patterns, and you can kind of observe which patterns tend to succeed time and time again. But at the same time, the people that we love are the ones that take those patterns and just ever so slightly improve on them. And you know, you can observe the great like lyric writers, whoever you want to give them that credit for, and kind of see what they're doing. And the same thing with like melody writing or the way you produce a song. But at the end of the day, like, our ears only hear 12 different notes. We only recognize 12 different notes. So you only have a combination of one of 12 different things every time you're writing a song. And there's only so many different ways you can take that. But your personality, your idea of those chords, those words, is your chance of sticking out. So,
And I think there's something to be said about that too, right? Like, technically, scientifically, and sonically, like, there is like a recipe of ordering chords for it to sound aesthetic, like, pleasing sonically to your ears. But I really feel like it's easy to kind of weed out who is making a song based on like a cookie cutter template that like technically and historically has worked, and who's sitting down and writing a song with raw, authentic emotion, and just steering those emotions into what they, theoretically know is going to sound good.
Yeah.
I think it's why I'm struggling to think of a specific example, but there's some artists that they put out that first album and it's so good. Like, every song, like, you resonate with, it's super genuine.
Mm-hmm.
And then, that follow-up or release, like, there's just so much pressure to stay relevant, keep like pushing the envelope and be interesting to your audience. And maybe like getting, then too consumed with, well, this is like the cookie cutter progression for like a pop song. Like, I better do that. That's going to give me the best chance to make a product that's going to get me to that next level. And I think when you start overthinking about the science behind it, I think you can kind of get out of touch with the genuine part of music that everybody loves. So it's such a delicate balance between the two.
Yeah. It was funny. My granddaughter, we were having this conversation because Adele, she came out with a song, and I was watching somebody critique it, and I mean, it's amazing. And she was telling me how at 8 years old, she understands the difference between somebody who's real and there's not a lot of mechanical manipulation of the song. And she's like, well, anybody can make them sound good. I said, well, that's her right there. You know what I mean? So that's why acoustic is so. I think it's an amazing when you can sound good in an acoustic environment. And there used to be a show on TV. I don't know where, maybe it was MTV, but they would take these artists and they would put them in an acoustic environment, and you could really see how good they are. And I used to love that. And you just like, whoa, man, So I think, but I just wonder how much now out there. It's frustrating for you guys, like starting out, where you got these people who have, hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment. I guess they could really augment themselves, and maybe not as royally that good, but bring all that in and then magnify themselves. Whereas where you right now, you guys, it's you. It's especially when you go live.
Music
So
is so great in that way, because like, if I listen to your song and like I don't feel anything, like, that's it. It's like you could write all the lyrics and have the music, but like, if you don't make your listener feel something, then like you haven't done it. And music's pretty simple in that way.
Yeah,
we were talking earlier about you struggling with like, do I want to become the best pianist I can possibly be, or do I want to like give myself the freedom to just be creative and not worry about being perfect with the piano? And from my perspective, you made the right choice, because
Thanks.
What are you going to do as a classical pianist? Like, you're going to play the classics, right? And you'll maybe write your own what would that be, like a symphony? What are those called? Like,
yeah
opera. No,
opera.
Sonatas.
So sonatas. So let me ask you. So I understand you guys. So you play the guitar. You sing also. Chris.
Everybody sings.
Everybody sings. So you're
Whether you
the
sound
keyboard.
good
So
or
tell
not
me
is
the rest of the
another
band. So tell me the rest of the band. So what do you have? So give me. So how's it structured? You have a drummer. What else you got? What other instruments you guys have?
So we've got a drummer and a bassist.
Bassist.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I do like some like rhythm guitar and keyboards, kind of alternate between the two.
Okay.
And I sing, and Chris does lead guitar and sings.
You'll see Chris spinning around the floor. On
Yeah, I
his
watched
back.
a little bit of the one, and because I was driving, because I just got the link today. Sean, our other associate, sent it to me, and I watched it. So I was trying to put it all together.
I'll tell you what, when I saw that show at the Saint, you guys played it like you were playing at like the Greek theater or something.
Totally.
Like,
I
was
mean,
like,
it starts from the stage, man. If we are going up there and looking bored, like who's gonna care? You know?
yeah, exactly.
And that is the best part for us. We love playing live and having any sort of interaction back, because we played shows where people like don't even know that we're there, and you're like, well, you know.
Yeah, that I'm sure sucks.
It's so much feeding off of the crowd.
Uh-huh.
You know, like you might not be at Madison Square Garden, but if like the crowd is like yelling and singing and dancing and like drinking beers, like yeah, I mean, like
I was pretty tuned up at that show.
Yeah, so are we probably.
so probably.
Oh yeah, you guys had someone, I don't know, I guess he's like friends with one of you guys, but like shuffling drinks from the bar to the backstage for you guys before the show started.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you what, like we definitely had fun at the shows. Hopefully he won't get mad at me for telling this story, but we played a show at a brewery once, and like I mean it's inevitable, we're at a brewery, like we're gonna have a couple beers.
Oh, for sure.
And I'll never ever forget this. The drummer in our band really enjoyed being at a brewery, and we're hitting the final strum of our last song,
Which would have been Ghosts.
Which was Ghosts, and he raises the cymbal above his head like a caveman barbarian dude, and he just slams it on the ground and cut Chris's brand new guitar cable like dead in half. Like I've never seen it. It was like surgical.
It was
Not as sophisticated as the surgery that you're doing, but surgical. It definitely was not intentional, but oh yeah, so fun. And you know, like the crowd loves that shit too. You know, like it's like, you know, especially for where we're at, like in our careers, like, you know, realistically, the people that we're performing to are friends and friends of friends, and you know, maybe some family. But like I think what's been really gratifying is like there are times when there are people that don't know us at the shows, and like to see those people showing up to multiple shows, and then showing their friends, and then you know those groups of people are showing up to our shows. Like I don't know, I like in a not arrogant way, like it just kind of makes us feel like, all right, like, you know, maybe we're onto something here, you know, like it's cool that it's resonating with people that way. And you know, I think like that authentic, genuine performance, you know, not trying to be something that we're not, you know, I think that helps like to connect with people like that in an audience.
Now you were talking a couple of minutes ago about how a lot of times on, you know, a second project, artists, I don't want to call it selling out, but they will try to do what's relevant, right? Is that something you guys are like struggling with a little bit right now, like trying to avoid making that mistake? While still being like innovative, because I mean that new song, it sounds different, you know.
I think just the one piece I'm curious for what you'll say, Chris, but like I'm really proud of the fact that we don't really have like one artist that we say, oh, we gotta like sound like these people. And you know, when we ask people who listen to our music and like our music, we're like, who do you think we sound like? It's we either don't get an answer or like none of the answers are the same. So like I think what's interesting is that
for me, I get like for the EP, like early 2000s, like alternative rock kind of.
I'll totally take it.
Like what I was listening to on the school, like on our school bus. Right?
And like, there's definitely a feel to our music, but like it's nice because we're not really limited to sounding like a certain genre, sounding like a certain artist. And if anything, like what we've been spending time on figuring out is like, you know, what does Moonwater sound like? Because we put those 3 songs out, they're all a little bit different, so it's still like open-ended, but like I like that we have been able to control the narrative of what that sound is, which kind of takes all the pressure off for future releases. But I'm curious what you think.
I don't know. Yeah, I think something that we've always taken a lot of pride in is that we're like, we don't really know who we sound like, and I'm not worried about ever sounding too like mainstream, because if you ask me right now, like, or if you showed me a list of like what's on the Billboard top 10 right now, I can guarantee you I probably haven't heard a single one of those songs, because I just don't really listen to like the new music anymore. And I think the thing that's always first and foremost most important to me is just like there's got to be an emotional connection. In terms of like talking about when we were learning our instruments and whatnot, I feel like the one thing I really left with in college was because like I said, I was like, I got to be the best. I got to be like the guy that like all the guitar players now look up to and be like, I want to be Chris. I don't care about that anymore.
I want to be Chris.
I want to have.
I wish I could
like,
play the guitar like Chris.
Me too. We'll talk offline.
I'm trying to teach Mike, but he has his limitations.
I can play. What's that? Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper song.
Classic.
See, I don't know if I know that
Tell
one.
me something.
One of the bar
girl.
shows come up. We could do
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Come through.
So, you know,
You play, I'll sing.
Chris,
Chris can sit in the audience.
Yeah, please give me a break.
you know, and again, you guys, I'm so excited for you guys. But again, my wisdom, and I could tell you, whatever you do in life, whether it's this or whatever, do something that your level of the way your music's going to be, where you're going to direct it, is what you think is good, what you want to do, because if you're going to chase, I want to sound like them, or I want to sound like them, or how do we sound like? I can tell you, I think you got a real crisp sound. I think it's clean, and you know, I think there's and I don't ever give up. You know, you got to keep going, but I'm not a musician, but you got to do your own thing. What you know what's good, and if you feel that the music really sounds good, that's what you got to go with. And that's, you know, I think that's so important. And it's interesting you say you don't know what you sound like. You sound like what you're going to sound like. You know, you guys get together and you're going to create something. And when you say it's only like 12 chords, but you know what? I've been on this earth for so many years. Every time a new song comes out, it amazes me. You know,
Right?
And so I think there's an unlimited, infinite amount of music and inspirational lyrics that are out there. So I would never say, oh, it's, you know, there's no, because my wife, we argue about this. She goes, well, what else is there to talk about? I go, no,
Yeah.
I don't buy that in a million years.
Right.
But I think that you guys, you know, you got this far, and I think there is some magic there. Again, I'm not the best here, but I like what I heard, and I would continue to go and just do what just
Appreciate
keep writing, and from the heart, from your emotion. You know, I mean, Dell, that song, that's about her divorce. I mean, you listen to that, I'm like, oh man.
Mhm.
I mean, I could feel, you know, I just feel it, you know. So, and I think your voice is, you know, is great. I mean, so
Thanks.
don't
It's
what's that
dreamy.
say? It's dreamy. It's
It
dreamy.
is. It is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So what? But do you guys?
Shucks, you
Do
guys.
you guys? Where can people? I mean, you guys have things coming up. Like where? Like how? What's your schedule? Like you have anything? Like are you? You know, you say you practice. You guys got other jobs, so I know it could be kind of tough. But what's, you know, like if I want to come see you guys, is there a way? You know, do you have something on? How do we find you? How do people find you?
Chris, I'll let you give the big announcement for what's next.
Oh my God, there's a big announcement.
Oh, it's such a big announcement. Yeah, we are working on our second EP. Right now, it's in the process of being mastered, which is really like the last step.
Three songs.
4 songs.
Wow.
It's
Talk one of them?
very
No.
close too.
Wow!
5 new Moonwater songs in 1 year.
Yeah, yeah. Who
Wow!
would have thought?
Wow!
So yeah, I mean, like, yeah, we're super stoked about that, and yeah, like you said, we're really proud of all 4 of these songs, and again, it's expanding on all the kind of different things that we've done already. There's kind of the, you know, eccentric kind of electronic things. There's the straight ahead rock things. To us, the most important thing, again, is just like the emotion. The genre is what we think about. As long as we feel like we're putting forward an emotion,
Yeah.
that's what comes up to the forefront. And then, yeah, we're hoping to have that out probably close, you know, about 2 months after we finally finish that mastered end result. And then we haven't booked many ticketed shows right now because it's been a little weird with COVID. And like, if you don't have anything new, you know, it's hard to get people to come spend $15-20 to come see us. So we've been doing, you know, free to attend bar shows in New York City. And that's been really awesome because those shows are fun when the crowd's good and it helps us meet new people. We've definitely probably made a handful of fans doing that, where like,
For sure.
we did a show the other night and like these people came up and wanted to take pictures with us on the stage afterwards. Like, you just never know like what kind of people are going to be at those shows. So.
Listen, maybe guys might do my wedding.
right?
Sure. We'd love to.
You know,
It's gonna be a big party. It's outside, but get.
We were talking off air about playing small venues, and I asked you, do you get a hard time from, I guess it would be a promoter, about playing your own original music?
It's a good question. Yeah,
There is this like thing in the music industry that like when people are hiring bands for those kind of shows, like bars or restaurants,
They want you playing shit that people are going to sing to.
They want you playing shit that people know, because you're really just there to entertain drunk people and encourage them to spend more money at the bar.
All drunk.
Like,
you can go to a bar where they put up the big cage and they throw the bottles.
If you know what the terms are, you can get the best end result out of it. So we go there, we have a few beers, and we scream songs in drunk people's faces that they know, and they scream it back, and they have a good time.
Have you ever in a like situation where you were asked not to sing any original songs, like snuck one in?
I would say no, but like in those shows where on covers that they know, like what's been really gratifying is, you know, intentionally throwing an original that we're proud of in the middle of what we know is going to be a power set of songs that people are going to be stoked about. And even not knowing the songs, like getting just like sometimes an even better reaction than the cover songs.
Yeah.
Like it actually was going so well at a recent cover gig that we were doing that, like, you know, there were people in the audience that were like, you know, play an original, play another original. And like, you know, we were playing 4 originals in a row.
We were like, dude, you can't keep saying this. We only got so many.
Right.
Putting us on blast.
But I would say, you know, I think something that we've done a pretty decent job at is, like, I think that original music gets a bad rep with promoters sometimes, because like sometimes like the you know, strictly original bands like aren't drawing an audience or like captivating an audience. I think we've been pretty intentional about separating what's a fun bar show and what is a formal original show, like similar to the one that you came out to at the Saint. You know, like I think we've definitely been a little bit more selective in where we're playing when we're playing for original shows, whereas like those cover shows, you know, it helps us to pay the bills. It's, you know, casting a, you know, a wider net in New York. You never really know who you're going to run into.
Well, also, like, you know, it would be different if you guys had a different sound, right? Because like, you know, you could play Mr. Brightside and then file that with Mary Jane, and like it would sound like, you know, you could make it sound like the same band wrote both songs.
We actually do it the opposite of that. We play Mary Jane right before we play Mr. Brightside.
I actually wanted to ask you, love or hate playing Mr. Brightside?
It's so,
I hate it because it's actually a really hard guitar part, and we always play it as like the last song of the night after like 3 hours. So my hands like absolutely drenched in sweat. I'm like barely able to hold on. We did it the other night. I like fucked up at least 5 different times because like my fingers are sliding out of position. I was dropping the pick.
Now,
but the crowd goes crazy.
the crowd goes crazy.
Oh, every time you're at Johnny Max and that song comes on,
dude.
it's like a white people anthem. It's ridiculous.
White people cannot control their bodies during Mr. Brightside.
No, they literally can't.
No.
You guys told a story at the Saint about like getting kicked off the stage for playing a certain song.
The Sex on Fire at Seton Hall, probably.
We didn't get kicked off, but we just got a lot of
should.
frowns from administrators at a Catholic school for playing Sex on Fire by Kings of Leon, which, you know, in hindsight, like probably not our best call.
But we like signed a contract. That was, like,
Christianity is founded on sex.
yeah, they were like,
The
you
original sin.
cannot curse. There can be no.
Or no, the original sin was eating the apple. I'm sorry. I'm an idiot.
Either way, it was a ballsy move for us for our first ever show to be like, we're gonna go up there and play Sex on Fire
I
at
approve.
Catholic college.
2 hour defense. We did not have a name at that point. That was in the middle of us trying to figure out a name. And we walked on stage and they're like, what's your name? And we're like, we don't know. So Moonwater did not play that show.
There
So
you go.
Moonwater has a very squeaky clean record.
That's a loophole.
There you go.
That's a loophole.
So
There's a loophole.
I don't know if I don't want to put you guys out. Can we get another song maybe, or is that too
Yeah.
much?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, how about
Cass is
something from the
excited.
new, or is that?
You want something new?
Listen, my granddaughter, she's gonna go. I mean, you guys are really good. I want to hear more. And I tell you,
Thank you.
I could see it's interesting what you're saying, because I could see how, you know, you want to put your stuff out there because, you know, if you want to continue on, you're artist, you're producing this stuff, and you want to get out there. But then when you go to a venue and they want you to cover, you know, it's like I could see that's
dude,
hard,
I-
and it's that's I wouldn't even, you know, I'm thinking about that, and see, I guess if you were just a band who didn't care, you know, and just going to cover and make money, but when you're a real artist, it's even harder.
Totally.
It's
I
even
bar
harder.
back-
It's
I bar back on the boardwalk in Spicy's. At Spicy's in Seaside, and they have all these bands come in and play like you know, every Friday night, and like it's just like you see after the third week, you've seen the same band come in and play the exact same set, and you're like, man, like you kind of feel for them. Like one of the dudes, he was on like American Idol or something, the Stuyvesant or something like that. I don't know, but they just come in, and I'm like, man, like I wish I could hear what you guys really want me to hear.
Right.
Because for me, like I would prefer to see a band playing their own stuff because I'm interested in new shit, you know. But the unfortunate truth is most people at the bar like don't want to actively listen to something. They just want to, you know.
So you guys have the talent because you've done it. Now, you know, I'm just giving you like a fatherly, you know, you guys. Listen. You've done it. You're producing, you're writing, and so to me, it's just a matter of time, and you know. I'm not saying you have to get better but continue to keep and do. So you're there. I mean, you're that far along that you've got the talent to write and produce and so that to me is like, you know, I don't know, 80-90%. Now you just got to home those things in. And I mean, that's the way I see it. You know,
that's what we keep telling ourselves about this podcast, right? We just got to keep going.
Well, you know, and you know what it is. I like doing it. So like I tell him, if you know, I put everything into it. That's how I am. I go 100. You know, look at. I mean, and I spend hours and hours because I enjoy it. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know. But again, you guys are. I'm just, you know, from my perspective here, you're, you know, you have the talent. So you got to try. Like I wanted to pack in medicine. I don't want to just talk about me, but I had this old lady down the island. She goes, listen, you got talent. God gave you the ability to do this. And, you know, and I could see her right now. And I said to myself, you know what? I can continue on. So
what's my talent, Catchmore?
Oh God, give me a hard time. You know. So listen, you've been, digress here. You've been very good. You're in
crushing it, man.
Let's go, Tyler.
Let's go. My research.
You're good, Tyler. Let's go. Can we hear another? So what's the name? What's the title of the song? I'm so excited to hear it.
Let's
Is
do
this
Better
a brand?
Off.
Is this the brand? Is this just the brand new one that you guys are?
Yeah, this is not published out
Is
there.
this a world premiere?
This is a world premiere.
Whoa.
Premiere. We've been doing this live.
Yeah.
You guys played a couple songs I hadn't heard at the Saint. I don't think Alien Talk was one of them. It might have been. I don't know. But you guys played more than one song that I didn't know.
Held it off that show.
I'll tell you what. We had been performing this song, and then it just really came to life in the studio. And it was one of the songs where I was like, maybe not so excited about, and now like I just can't wait for people to hear the song.
Now, what's the name of it again? I'm sorry.
It's called Better Off.
Better Off. Okay. Better Off by Moonwater.
Moonwater. Let's hear it.
All right, let's do it. There's something superficial about the words you're using, and it crossed my mind. I know I'm losing another pretty face that I'm misusing. You say you hear me, you don't hear nothing at all. You say you wanna believe, but you wouldn't go that far. And if there's something you've been looking for, or someone you've been waiting on, I really hope that you find better, oh, better, oh. You're always existential in the way you're thinking, and I feel it most when I count you breathing. I know that you sense my touch, but do you feel it?
You say you feel me, you don't feel nothing at all. You say you wanna believe, but you wouldn't go that far. And if there's something you've been looking for, or someone you've been waiting on, I really hope that you find better for you. It's better off. And if there's something here that I don't know, I really wish that you would let me know. I really hope that I do better for you. It's better off. And do you think that there is something I don't give to you? And do you think that there is something missing? Do you think that there is something I don't give to you? Do you think that there is something? Oh my God, it's always something. Yeah, it's always something. And if there's something you've been looking for, or someone you've been waiting on, I really hope that you find better. Oh, it's better. Oh, yeah, if there's something here that I don't know, another fire going on below, I really hope that I do better for you. It's better. Oh, now I know that I do better for you. Better. Oh.
Woo! Oh man, I have goosebumps on my neck.
Thank you.
Holy moly!
Goose
That
pimples?
listen, the goose. Listen, Bright Side. That's right up there, man. That's an unbelievable. Really,
you.
I'm telling you.
We can only hope so.
That it no. That's I tell you what, that was amazing.
Thank you.
That
Thank
was
you.
Appreciate
really,
it.
really. You know what? I tell you, if I ask me my emotion right now, I want to hear more. I don't want. I don't
Yeah,
play
we'd
more.
be happy to play some more for you.
I think we should close out the show.
No,
on
but
one more
no, just
song.
saying. No,
That's
I don't
just
want
my
more. But I'm just
opinion.
saying. That's. I mean, that was unbelievable. You guys. I mean, that was just. Whew.
I think you guys did play that. I
Oh,
Might have.
vaguely recognize that.
I think we usually play it, but
Man, that's fucking.
You know,
dude,
I-
those lyrics
know
are
what-
fucking beautiful.
I like that you might have recognized it though, because I think the goal with that song is it's a wordy verse with like a chorus that I hope is a little bit memorable.
yeah,
So,
I'm a lyric nerd, so
awesome.
yeah.
wow. Well, listen, I'm not kidding around, man. I'm going to have you guys at my wedding. Shit, I'll pay
We'll
you.
do
I'll
it.
pay you
We're in.
pretty. I'll
We're
pay
in.
you pretty good
All
money.
right,
too,
we're in.
It's good. It's good. It's good.
and we already know they can play the cover song.
Yeah, you know what it is? I wouldn't. I tell you what. Seriously, I wouldn't have you play any cover. I'll get a little guy to play on the DJ, whatever.
You guys-
I want
You guys gotta do
real.
some writing if you want to play this whole wedding all
Yeah,
over.
Right,
you're
right.
gonna have, yeah. Maybe
know,
you guys
It's
could write
like-
me a
it's
one
like
song.
4 albums worth of songs for to
Oh,
play a whole
no,
wedding.
no.
I'll tell you what, actually, a little sneak peek, and I guess relevant if you're having a wedding. I actually for the first time got hired to write a wedding song,
No way.
Really?
Dude,
Yeah.
Oh,
congrats.
wow. There you go.
and it's super nerve wracking to like intentionally write a song for two people because it's
Mhm.
like you hope that it encapsulates like how they feel about each other and everything.
It's like all of a sudden you're not writing for you. You're like,
Right. And but like you want to put yourself in that situation, and it was funny like sending them. It's like I felt like I was sending a risky text. I was like, "Do you like my song that I wrote for you?"
Well, because I think one of
No, it's
like you were saying before, one of the themes in I think a lot of your songs is like that ambiguity, like when it comes to relationships, when it comes to love, like Ghosts, that song we just listened to, those are about like figuring out a relationship.
Yeah.
Right. Is Mary Jane just straight up about a breakup? What's that song about?
You know, you want to take it or me?
There's a lot to that one.
We actually, I feel like the song was actually kind of written about like an idea of kind of like somebody in the band like had like a person of reference who had just like made this shift in their life where even though they had grown up in suburbia, like now all of a sudden they were like I guess very celestially indulged like in the world, and I guess like a gypsy kind of thing, and I don't know, we were writing like a bit about that and kind of like how that happens. And
Is Mary Jane weed in the
No.
song? I've been wondering that for 2 years now.
It's two-pronged.
it is two-pronged.
It's a double entendre.
I'm realizing that my answer was probably pretty poor, so Chris, I'm gonna let you take that one.
That was a great. Every
That was
answer you've
great.
given has been
The
perfect.
thing I remember most about that song is that we wrote it over FaceTime.
Yeah,
We
That
kind of
was-
just we had kind of like a form, like we said, like a skeleton, and then we just wrote it over FaceTime, and we kind of just like, I think that's the most amount of time we've ever spent on lyrics for a song, because we actually
Totally.
like hashed out a lot of different ideas. But yeah, it kind of just tells the story.
there's one lyric in that song. It's in a millennial wasteland, and
She's a wild rose thorn.
Yeah,
That's like
yeah.
the second line of the song.
It is the second line.
Yep.
So yeah.
and we debated if that was like tacky or cool for probably 3 months,
Nah, it's
back
cool.
and forth.
Yeah, so cool. So happy you left that in there.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
This is the gratification that
We
we
love
need.
validation.
Yeah, totally.
No,
Hey, there you go. I mean, like I told you guys, multiple times now, like what I want to do here is like have a platform where like I can have, my friends and cool stuff I'm interested like locally, and like give you guys an opportunity to like share what you got. I know our network is probably smaller than yours is at this point, but it's 90 YouTube subscribers that you guys haven't been exposed to.
Right.
So and we're like ecstatic to do that.
you never know too, because somebody hits that song, we'll put the hashtags and then it could take off. I mean, but I tell you, that was unbelievable. It really,
Thank you.
I'm not really. I'm being very serious. That I had that was a three times like this, that was really good. I think that I'm so glad that you guys came here, and certainly you can be invited back. It's an hour and a half almost, so
Nice.
it goes quick. It goes quick. I did a show before this, and my eyes are like killing me. I get the lights kill my eyes. But I listen. Good luck with everything. You'll have our support. I mean, we're here to help each other, but don't give
Absolutely.
up the dream, man.
Yeah, never.
Don't give up the dream. And
Here's
you
how I
guys,
think we should wrap the show up. You guys promote whatever you want to promote, and then we'll wrap it up with Mary Jane.
All right.
If you guys are down, no
Yeah,
pressure.
we can do that.
And then you guys can close out the way we talked about before the show.
Stay alive.
Yes.
yeah,
Totally,
yeah.
totally.
So how can people get a hold of you guys? Give it,
Yeah.
and spell it out too, because we have, so for our podcasters, because they can't see anything. We don't have. Do you have anything up there, Kyle? You want to put something up for them? Why don't you add one from while they're talking, so this way they could see it visually and it'll be there.
Oh yeah. Well, we're called Moonwater. It's one word, Moonwater. We've got a website called moonwatermusic.com. We are on social medias at Moonwater Band. And yeah, we've got music streaming on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal,
Anywhere.
Amazon Music,
Anywhere
basically
you can find music.
anywhere you can find
Mike, we could, if you just doesn't work out for you could be like that commercial where the guy goes, I sit in my closet and I do voiceovers.
it. Thanks.
Well, you got a great voice, even speaking. It's so
I'll
again,
tell you what, it's definitely it's faking it till you make it. Like I
You
totally
guys aren't faking anything.
there's so at Moonwater. So
Yep.
so it's at Moonwater. That's
That's
MOO.
us.
yep at Moonwater Band.
WATERBAND.
Yep.
For our podcast audience.
Yeah, for our podcast people, we are Lifeguards Off Duty. Follow us at where's our thing? LG.association on Instagram. You can send us
Yeah.
an email at drcatchmar@icloud.com. And yeah, you guys want to play us out?
Sure thing.
All right.
Let's do it. Thanks so much for having us.
Oh man,
Thank you for
so-
coming on, man.
It's
This
like
was-
so great.
This
I
was
just-
so much fun.
Can't wait to see you at your wedding.
Listen, I'm gonna have. My wife's gonna listen to you guys tonight, and then, or my fiance, I should say. I call her my wife, but and then, oh yeah. So, all right,
Awesome.
We've learned that this is a great bed for people to just talk over.
Oh yeah. Sometimes if I just want to bust Chris's chops, I just make him play this over and over, and I'll talk to the audience. So he's used to it. Bless you, Chris.
Thanks.
She's a wild rose thorn in a millennial wasteland. The slightest touch is just enough to leave you bleeding. She says it's written in the stars to grow a wild heart. You wear it on your sleeve, and then I lost my favorite sweater out on the street. She's sleeping in the back of a broken down van. Her skin is cracked from holding on for her life, holding on for her life. She says, I don't need help, I need your money. And I've got a date with Mary Jane. Well, I wanted love and I got nothing. But now I'm running around, lost in this town. Got me looking for another way out. She's on the run with the change of season. Pierced her tongue, talking of her tattoo treason. She says it's written in the stars to grow a wild heart. You wear it on your sleeve, and then I lost my favorite sweater. Yeah, I lost my sweater. She says I don't need help, I need your money. And I've got a date with Mary Jane. And I wanted love and I got nothing. I've still got nothing. Now I'm running around, lost in this town. Got me looking for it. Everybody's looking for it. Help me find another way out. She's sleeping in the back of a broken down van. Her skin is cracked from holding on. Sleeping in the back of a broken down van. Her skin is cracked, her skin is cracked. Sleeping in the back of a broken down van. She's sleeping in the back, sleeping in the back, sleeping in the back of a broken down van. I don't need help, I need your money. Yeah, I've got a name, it's Mary Jane. Hey! And I wanted love and I got nothing, I've still got nothing. Now I'm running around, lost in this town. I've been looking for it, everybody's looking for it. Help me find another way out. Thank you all so much.
wow, that was
Thank you.
unbelievable. That was really, oof. I tell you guys, that's good stuff.
Thank you.
really, Really.
We ready to
Yeah.
wrap this up?
What's that?
we ready to wrap this up?
Yes. Listen, thank you guys again for coming.
Thank you
Really
for having
appreciate
us.
it. No, I'm glad that we stayed, and
Yeah.
that was amazing. That was really. I don't even. I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. I mean, really. I don't want.
You could talk for 12 hours
Nah,
straight.
yeah, you guys got a lot of talent. I wish you just keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank
know?
you.
I just keep on doing what you're doing. Don't give up the dream, and just keep on going. Do what you know what's right. I mean, you know that now. So anyway, let's pack it in.
That's my line.
Right.
Stay out, stay alive.
I'm good. I practiced.
Are you gonna? You have an? How are you gonna do this? Did you
Yeah,
put a
just-
new?
We're good.
You want me to put some music over here? Yeah, well, this is our.
We can.
After the moment, no, get that garbage out of here.
You can just make Chris play
How
that
about
intro
this?
part.
How about this? You
Should
go-
I set a bed?
Here.
Ah, nice.
After the performance.
Sitcom style.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen. We thank you very much, and
Thank you.
you want to give us out. So we have when we close our beach, we say that beaches are closed for today, and we have this whole thing, and then at the end we say, what do we say?
Stay out, stay alive.
Thank you, guys. All right,
Thank you.
Tyler, take us out.
This
All right?
has been Lifeguards Off Duty.
All right, guys.
Good
take
night,
care.
everybody.
Good night, everybody.